Hello and welcome to um, this year edition of Afcon 2023. Basically, it's nice to be here once more to give you a breakdown of what the Afcon for 2023 will be like. As expected, the Afcon will be played in 2024, but you all know that we are trying to really adjust the calendar for this year for the Afcon. Maybe in some few years distance we will have a very good calendar for the AFCON. We'll go back to the normal calendar. Okay, I have John here with me. John, good morning and how are you?
Good afternoon. I'm very well.
Good afternoon, how are you? Maybe the weather over here where I am, it's it's really playing with me. But good morning and how are you?
Good afternoon from Nigeria,
Good
and
afternoon,
it's
bro.
very warm. I guess you
Oh,
must be catching the winter cold over there.
oh, really? The winter cold here is really blazing. Good to see you after a very long time, and I hope you're okay.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh, we are very fine. I'm buzzing up for the Nations Cup.
Yeah. Uh,
We are
so What are
out to win again.
before we go into the Nations Cup, both of us are wearing red, and yesterday, and both of us do support Manchester United, and yesterday United lost again. Out of the 20 matches they played in the EPL, they've lost nine, and this this is the record. United are teams. They are the team that set record in the EPL. Now they are setting a negative record. I don't just know where they go. Like I told you before the show, I said United fans have to just do with what they have at the moment because that's where the club is. With 10 years of mismanagement, 10 years of Glazers taking in funds, not investing in the club, not investing in Old Trafford, this is what you get. And football has, I just think that football has just gone beyond or run away from United at the moment. But I think surely with the new investment, with the likes of Jim Ratcliffe and Claude, the French guy coming in as a new director, I think things should be okay going forward. So
Uh,
I don't know what's your take.
well, that's a general belief, but I don't blame the Glazers that much. Maybe I'm not a managerial person or a management person because statistics show that United have spent only less than Chelsea and Man City in the last 10
Man City.
years, the market. So that is without doubt backing whoever manager has been in charge. Ten Hag has had three transfer windows and has spent over 400 million. So without doubt, he has been backed up. The only thing is that for some reasons, I believe the major problem of the team is just so many players are there, just like Ole said last 2 months. So many players are there that actually believe they are better than they actually are. We have those who actually can actually come down and do the nitty gritty. They don't get the chance. Some
Uh,
players just believe they are so phenomenal. We had Pogba for almost 5 years. He was one of such, believing he was too good at every point to even be in the United team. Left United for just 2 years now, and I don't think he will play football again. So that is just how it is. So many of them actually just put themselves in these clouds that just because they've got it to United, they are now bigger than everything. As much as Rashford was was our biggest star last season, he still never nailed down a shirt as an England starter. So that shows that it was actually his best was not even good enough to make him a starter ahead of the likes of Foden. So many things that you'd actually look at that team and you'd know that it's not really about the management alone. Even on the pitch, players just, and I blame, that is the only place I actually blamed Ed Woodward. Ed Woodward actually made some of these players feel so fantastic than they were. For what is worth, how can a player like Marshall still be on almost 300,000 pounds a week? And this is a player that I'm sure that if we bring some academy strikers, they will still bench him. They will still bench him for them. In fact, he has nothing
Exactly,
doing in that.
exactly, John. Exactly. But like I said, United are where they are because of what they're putting in on the pitch. I think that's it. Okay, going back to the
Yes.
nation. Let's go back to the Nations Cup. The Nations Cup is here now. Afcon 2023. We want to look at the group stage, and we want to really look at. We want to see what we have in Group B, in Group A, where you have the Super Eagles and the Ivory Coast. You have Guinea-Bissau, Equatorial Guinea in that group. What's your take, first of all, about the group itself? Is it a group of death among the six group we have in the Nations Cup, or how do you see that group?
Well, on paper, it's an easy group. But recently, Nigeria has a very funny habit of making every group to become the group of death. When the World Cup groupings were made, on paper it seems very easy. Oh, it will be a straight fight between Nigeria and South Africa. But after two matches now, neither of them is actually leading the table. So it's just been a very funny way. But for me, the group is okay. Luckily, we are having three likely to have three people who qualify from the group. So whichever thing it is, as from the Nigerian perspective, I would expect us not to sweat it too much. We should be able to come out of the group. Ivory Coast as host, they should have the fans behind them, have a very good tournament. The like of KCL, Sebastian Haller. So they should have a good tournament.
So do you going forward? Do you think or let's start with the Ivorians. You see the Ivorians, they are without Wilfred Zaha, but they still have Sebastian Haller from Dortmund. Um, they have Frank here also. They have a whole lot of players that can come in. So what's your take on how do you think that um, uh, the host, having the fans behind them, having the players behind them, how do you think that they can really shape up this Nations Cup and if they can pick 9 out of 9 in the group and progress down to the final. Do you think they will get to the final? They have the players to get to the final for Ivory Coast.
Well, I would expect Ivory Coast to actually have a good tournament. Luckily for them, they have a barrage of stars at the moment. Haller, Kessie, Ibrahima Sangare, Keke Fofana from Al Nazri, the winger who is supplying Ronaldo with so many goals. Um, it's just been okay. Sergio Aurier, the team captain, although he's presently injured, I don't know if he will make it to the Nations Cup. But the team has actually had a lot of experience. I think from the last Nations Cup, you saw the way they did, although they didn't have the best of tournaments, but you could see that so many young players were beginning to mature. And now with the likes of Adingra coming up at Brighton, so many of them are actually coming up at the right time, becoming first team players in all their clubs and actually getting starts that are quite encouraging. Now, let's actually break down that team bit by bit. At the defense line, we expect the usual suspect by Aurier. These are established internationals. Although Bai comes into the tournament not having played a lot of football, same with Aurier. Injury has actually plagued him this season. But you expect them to still be able to turn it up. And with all of the stadium behind them for all their matches. I actually hope for them, for their sake, they're able to top the group so that they can actually stay back in the capital. Because it's always an advantage if you are able to stay back in the capital, play matches in just one venue all through the tournament.
Yeah.
Because if they have to move to Abidjan at a point, then that is where hosts starts having issues. But if they're able to stay and keep playing their matches in Abidjan, then I'm expecting them to have a very good tournament.
Okay. What do you think about the omission of Wilfred Zaha from that list?
Well, to so many, it's actually controversial considering what he has been doing in the Champions League and also in the Turkish League. But the coach, as I always say, the coach knows best. He knows what he wants from his team. Um, Personally, I've never been a very big fan of Wilfried Zaha. I think he stifles so many of the teams he plays for. He's a player that tends to play for himself. And whenever he is not in a game, you cannot. If it's either with Zaha is running a game or with Zaha is totally out of the game. Perhaps the coach knows what he's wanting. He wants a player that can actually, even if you're not the main man, you're able to accept to be the support in a team, a very good team. So likely that's what he wants. Although, even if that was the intent, why not just pick him and then make him stay on the bench? The coach knows what he's looking for, and I hope it turns out for him. Because if it doesn't work out, he's going to get a lot of backlash from the local fans for dropping one of their best stars at the moment.
Okay. I'm just looking at. Sorry, I can't put it on the screen. I'm looking at. Even Nicolas Pepe made the team. You have the likes of Sebastian Ale, Christian uh,
Yes.
Kome. Christian Kome also made the team. You know Christian Kome that
Yeah.
Kome also made the team. John
He
Phillips.
made the team. Even
I think
Gradle, in the
yes, they made the team. In the midfield, they had Ibrahim Sangare, yes, which you just mentioned. They have John Mike Sari, and they have another guy from Borussia Dortmund again. Okay, no, they have Idris Dumde. I think they really have they even have Sekou Fofana that plays
yeah.
which you just mentioned that plays for Al Nassr with Cristiano Ronaldo. So I think they have really good star-studded players in that team, and if they gel very well, they can really go far. Okay, let's come
Definitely.
to before we let's look at the two dark horses in that group, Equatorial Guinea and Guinea-Bissau. I think Equatorial Guinea this beat Nigeria, and the only team that beat Nigeria, yeah, in the qualifiers.
Yes.
Um, what's your take on these two dark horses, please?
Yes. For Equatorial Guinea, they've actually been on the rise for a while. I think the Nations Cup they hosted in 2013, sorry, in 2012, actually opened the eyes of so many to them, and they've actually been able to blossom from there. Today, they have the likes of Emiliano Insue as their captain, although for a while he has been having issues with getting a club and actually playing a lot of football. But be that as it may, you know, in the African football and actually international football, experience counts a lot. So this they are coming with a
Yeah,
blend of so many experienced players who I'm sure will turn up for the party. Now, my only problem with them is how good do they come out? Do they start the tournament? Because once you are a dark horse, it always matters how you start the tournament. You don't want to start a tournament with a blowout. Once you do that, you are very, very sure that the rest of the tournament will not go well for you. But if they can actually start the tournament and get a good result against in their first match, then you will see that going forward it will be easier to capitalize upon. So for me, Equatorial Guinea is a very good team. Be that as it may that they don't have a lot of players that play mainstream football in Europe, mostly in the second division in the Portuguese league. But be that what that actually offers them is they have cohesion. They know each other. They mostly play the same kind of football. You know, there was a time that having that problem even in the Super Eagles. We have players coming from Russia, India, Uzbekistan, Ukraine, and once they come back, you
yes,
just
they have
see
players
you will
from divers, and if you're coming
yeah,
from divers um,
it's
uh,
the first time ball.
different
You notice
countries.
that they don't gel, but These Equatorial Guineans, they mostly play their football in the Portuguese league, in the lower Portuguese league. So you see them, they come out,
Yeah.
they know themselves. Okay, our strength is we can pass, our strength is we can dribble, and they go about that. They don't try to over elaborate on whatever they cannot do. And you see, they stick to their basics, and that is what has been working for them. However, I believe how far they go into tournament will all depend on their first match.
Okay. How about Guinea-Bissau?
Yes, Guinea-Bissau for me, I want to tip them to be the whipping boys of the group because one thing worked for them during qualifying, and that was the fact that they were able to have some matches that they were able to play very well at home. But the fact now that home advantage doesn't count, I think that will be a big problem for them. They have good players amongst them, not well-known names in African football, but these are players that actually know themselves as well. Just as I keep saying, that in national international football, it always matters that teams. If you look at the Croatian team in the last 4 years, every tournament they've gone to, they've always gotten to the semi-finals. They don't have stars, but what they have is they have themselves. They know themselves inside out. The midfield of Modric, Kovacic, and Brozovic has been eternal. Likewise, some of these other teams they come with very few players, just a compact team, and they play themselves and they know each other's strength. But just as I said for Equatorial Guinea, it's all about their first match, which I'm expecting a blowout. Most especially as they're playing, as likely they might be
Are
playing.
you sure? Because are you sure their first Equatorial Guinea? I mean, not Guinea-Bissau, because the first match would be, I think, the first match of that group should be Ivory Coast versus Guinea-Bissau, if I'm not
That's what
mistaken.
I'm.
Then Equatorial Guinea versus Nigeria,
That's what
or is
I'm
it
saying.
Nigeria?
That because they're playing. That's what I'm saying. That because they are playing the host, I'm likely seeing a blowout in that match. And if that actually starts their tournament, they can as well exit this tournament. They might likely exit the tournament in the group stage because the Ivorians are going to come out on them like never before. In fact, during the qualifying, you could see the Ivorians having some matches where they won as much as 6-0 in the World Cup. In the World,
Yeah.
they've been playing very well. So if that is going to rub off again in the first match, I don't see them getting out of the group.
Okay, let's move to our darling Super Eagles. We know that 2 days ago, the coach Draw released the list, and we have quite an interesting quite an interesting list. And that's my big problem. There are players I feel that are in that list and they're not supposed to be in that list. But that aside, how do you see the Nigerian Super Eagles performing in their first
Well,
match in the list? Because the first match of every tournament set the tone for you to uh,
yes,
set the tone for you to the rest of the tournament. I know in the last tournament it was 9 out of 9, and that really
yes,
affected us because it made teams like Tunisia, which we played in the quarterfinals or in the quarterfinals, I know in the round of 16, they went
yes.
and understood us, and you know what happened in that match. The rest was history. I want you to I want us to look at how do you think the Super Eagles should approach this Nations Cup compared to the way they approached the Nations Cup last time. They are having a new manager, Boso Pesero, and how do you think Pesero should really approach this this tournament?
Well, just like you, I actually saw the list and I was like, okay, Jose Pesero didn't make any particular surprises because he just went with what he has been using, and that is what he gave us. But for me, I felt the team is lightweight. For some reason, Jose Pesero just believes that as long as it's Nigeria, he will keep dominating every match. And he has brought out this favored 4-4-2 formation that he has been using, four natural defenders, two original midfielders, then four attackers. In fact, I call it the 4-2-4 formation. whenever we have issues with defending, it always causes us an issue because even within those two midfielders he usually use, both of them are not sitters. Mostly, Iwobi is always a guaranteed starter. Likely, we start along with Wilfred Ndidi, and that always leaves the team very very lightweight. You see, going forward, they are very very so much so good, but whenever it now comes to defending the other part of the pitch, an issue comes up for them. So, well, however, I believe the Super Eagles should have a very very good group stage tournament. Another issue that should come up is the goalkeeping issue. For some reason, I think the coach has just been doing what everybody has been shocked about. Just for some reason, he has just refused to ever give a chance to other goalkeepers. Okay, finally, he has decided to drop
Okay, okay,
Maduka Okoye. He's not going to.
okay. Let me let me
But
let me
even
tell
those
you
who
let
are
me
going
tell
to the
you
next,
let me tell you let me tell our viewers what we have as the goalkeepers first of all before we go into the defender. So we
yeah,
have Stanley. We have Stanley Bali. He plays for Chippa United South Africa. We have Francis Uzoho who plays in Cyprus, and we
yes,
have Leke Ojo
Olor,
who plays for Imba. I think one of the home based players we have in this squad. So
not one of the. He's
with
really home based.
is the only I think there's supposed to be two of them. So we'll check. We'll look at. But
The only one. He's only
with this with Francis, see, I don't really trust Francis Uzo as the goalkeeper for Manchester
everybody
for
doesn't,
the
but
Nigerian.
for some reason that
I
is
don't
coach.
I haven't been confident enough to trust him in the team. And something needs to be done. We have good goalkeepers out there. We have them in the league as well. Remember that Vincent Dayama, we scouted him from the Nigeria Professional Football League back then. You see, have good goalkeepers in that league. If we cannot get somebody outside, we can still get somebody inside within the league that will help. I don't understand why we keep on having this guy. Now, I don't think he is a goalkeeper. I don't think he doesn't look like a goalkeeper. So I think something has to be done by but funny enough, he's still in the squad. He's even a second choice in his team in Cyprus. I don't just
Yes, the
understand.
second Brazilian Fabinho.
So you
The
can
thing,
you, you can
the thing is with the coach Pesero, he just seems to have a vision of where he is going to. Now, whether it is right or wrong is left for us to see. But he has a vision of where he's going to, and he has just refused to allow any other external factor to actually decide what he's going to do. I don't see any possibility of any of the other keepers actually getting a game time in the Nations Cup. Because if there was ever going to be a reason to doubt or drop Uzor, I believe it would have come in one of the friendlies we played. We had two crucial friendlies, one against Mozambique, one against Saudi Arabia. And despite Uzor making a mistake in the Saudi Arabia game and three other goalkeepers in the team, he still used Uzor again for the second friendly. So that shows that he was just not ready to give any room for any other person to impress. It was Uzor or Uzor. So that be that as it may, let's just hope the defense is actually good enough this time to cover him up because that has been one of the biggest issues we have. Our defensive pairings of Semilori Ajayi and what's his name now? Calvin Bassey has actually been one of our biggest issues. Calvin Bassey is not the quickest. He's not the quickest on the turn. And we know how African football can be. It's always lightning speed, fast break, quick shots. That has actually been one of the biggest problems we've been having, and that is why Uzor faces good chances and that most he gets called. He has been able to call up defenders who are at the prime of their game now in Bright Osai on the right side, Bright Osai to battle out Ola. Then on the left side, Oyemechi to battle out it to battle out with Zaidu. But what we'll still be looking at is how good is that center, because that is where my problem always is. How good is that center? The center has been where we've been having issues for a
in the
while, and
defense.
it might still continue.
Sorry, John. In the defense, we have William Cruz Ekon plays in Greece. We have
Yes.
Bright Samuel, Osai Samuel. We have Olaina that plays in Nottingham Forest. I think he was in the team that won against Manchester United. We have Zaidu Sanusi. We have Bruno
Yes.
Onyemechi. I think he plays in Portugal. We have Sami Ajayi that plays in West. I think he has been in West Brom for all his life. We have Calvin Bassey. I don't know why Calvin Bassey is
Imagine.
a central defender. I don't know why we are trying to play him. I think we knew him in Rangers before he went to Ajax, then came to Fulham as a left back.
Yes.
So I don't know why. We have Chidozie Awazim. He also played in Portugal with the same team as Bruno Onyemechi. Then we have Kenneth Omero that plays in the second division in the Turkish league, Kazakh Kazakh. So these are the numbers of the defenders that we have in this squad. So I don't think I want to ask you, do you think there are better defenders out there than this one that we have in this squad?
Well, we actually have. That's actually our best. Truth be said, that's our best. But it now depends on who are those actually starting. That is where I actually always have the issue. That's our best. I would have preferred a scenario where maybe Trust is actually in the defense. Trust has always been Nigeria's Mr. Reliable. Going to the last two Nations Cup, he has been there, he has seen it, he has done it. So why not pair maybe Trust and a Kenneth Omeruo? Omeruo might not be the best defender, but in the Nigerian jersey, he hardly has a bad game. That's one thing I've always credited him for. Whenever he's playing for Nigeria, he hardly has he had a bad game. But you cannot say this for Calvin Bassey. Calvin Bassey on the turn is very, very slow. He's very, very slow on the turn. Once he's having to track back, you see him defend strikers run behind him at next breakneck speed. So why not actually try other defenders? And for some reason, I think they said there were some personal issues between the assistant captain, that's Trust, and the coach. So very likely he might not even get game time at the Nations Cup. Leon Balogun has, for some reason, just resurrected his career this year. Is the only player I would have expected maybe would have just snuck into that team. But the coach at least went with those he knew he had seen during the qualifiers and also the World Cup qualifiers. So we just hope the defense can actually hold themselves out in the tournament.
Okay, that's for you. How about the omission of Balogun? Is you surprised that Balogun was omitted from this squad?
Yes, that's what I just mentioned. That's what I mentioned last. I was thinking Banogu might sneak in into the tournament, but for some reason the coach still thought better of it because Balogun actually has been having in fact it had a resonance with Rangers this season. Mr. Immaculate. Unfortunately, yesterday he got red carded in the Old Firm derby. But before that, he has been very, very immaculate in Rangers' play this season. The new coach Lamore has been able to bring out the best in him, played him the way he likes to be played. You know, most of all these things about how a coach actually plays you. He brings out the best in you, and he has just found himself again. I would have loved the Oyibo wall could actually return at the Nations Cup. Maybe it just be our surprise package for that part of Africa. But we know the
Yeah.
Oyibo wall has been dismantled a long time ago, like Jericho.
Mhm. That's it. Okay, let's go to the midfield where we have Wilfred Ndidi that plays for Leicester City in England. Rafael Onyedika, Club Brugge, Belgium. Joe Aribo, Southampton, England. We have Frank Onyeka, uh, Brentford, England. Then Alex Iwobi, uh, that plays for Fulham. So for me, I think I see. I don't know what's your take about this, but I think I see this midfield as a very slim midfield that lacks creative players. I don't think the likes of Joe Aribo and Alex Iwobi can really create more chances for us for the strikers going forward. Um, what I think that should be that what I'm thinking if you have to play before 4-4-2 also Pesoro plays, you need your midfield to be very 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 creative. And I don't think the 4-4-2 at this time at this time that football tactics is evolving, I don't think the 4-4-2 is really good for us. for me, we could have had an expansive for 4-3-3, 4-3-3, when you have the likes of a Wilfred sitting at the front of that defense, because still the defense is still a suspect for me. Because when you have more shots to your goalkeeper, there's high tendency that you have more goals to that to against you. So Wilfred should be the fifth man, not necessarily going forward. Yes, it might disrupt play left, right, center. But what we need him to sit behind. Then you need really one more midfielder again that's more defensively minded, that can go from box to box. And you need a very good creative midfielder. That's what I think should be the balance of the team. And I think, John, you might agree with me. We have the strikers up front that can fire those goals in, that can create chances for the big man, um, uh, for the big man from Napoli. What's his name? Victor Osimhen. So
We'll see.
that midfield is very, very smooth. So what's your take about it?
Well, it all depends on how Pesero plays. Jose has always liked to play just the two central midfielders. As I said earlier, his creativity does not come from the midfield. The way he plays with the Nigerian national team, with the Super Eagles, his creativity does not come from there. His creativity comes from out wide, where likely you're going to see Ademola Lukman and Kelechi Iheanacho Marut from. That is where he expects his creativity to come from. He doesn't expect both his midfielders. He just expects them get the ball, pass it out wide, and that has been how he has been playing. Now it works for him because in the qualifiers, whenever we play very small teams, because of the avalanche of strikers that we have, it always works for him. You see Nigeria scoring 4 or 5 goals. I think against Antome, Nigeria hits them for 10, 16 in 2 matches. That is how good they can be when it actually works. But how bad can it be when it is not working? That is what you see in the match against Zimbabwe and in the match against Lesotho. Once teams are able to just sit back, it becomes an issue. The team can't actually possess the ball in the middle. The wingers, once they are not able to beat their man, becomes an issue. And you see chances don't get up to Victor. Now, we know that both Victors are at the prime of their careers. We expect both of them to be the starters since Taiwo Awoniyi is unfortunately out of this because of injury. We expect both Victors to come. So the creativity for the midfield, I don't think is actually looking. What he's just looking for in the midfield is just steal. Although you keep wondering if he was looking for steal, why he keeps playing Iwobi in that position.
When you have a very lean midfield, okay, look at that. Look at the midfield. You only have, I guess, you just have two defensive midfielders.
Just 6 players
In the midfield.
Yeah.
6 players in the midfield. And your midfield should be the engine, because that's where you connect from the defense to the attack. It has to be very, very strong. And I'm sorry to say that that midfield is not strong. When you look at the forward, you have Kelechi Iheanacho, Simon Chukwueze from that plays for AC Milan in Italy. Moses Simon, who was the darling of the last Nations Cup in the group stage, until when he melted out against
Yes.
Ishmael. You have Ademola Lukman, who has
Yeah.
very, very fantastic in Atlanta, in Italy. I think he has been on his game in Atlanta this season. He takes some players left and right, and I see nobody stopping that guy if he's on his A game, and if all the supplies are given to him. Victor Osimhen, the big man, uh, I think what this guy needs is just the Quaracteria services that he needs. The services Quaracteria, his teammate Quaracteria gives to him in Napoli. That is what he needs to score a goal. So we need those services from him. Then you have the likes of Victor Boniface. I think I just love this guy, the way he finishes his goals. I don't think Leverkusen will be able to keep him next season. He's bound to move to the Premier League, or rather maybe they might keep him for 1 or 2 seasons. And you have Ahmed Musa, which I don't think he is supposed to be in that team. If he play his play in Turkey. And he has Sadiq Umar also, who has really been doing well. I think he has been coming up, despite having a a season-ending injury last season, but I think he has been coming up for Real Sociedad. So I think for me, the strikers are good, but I just think that Ahmed Musa should not be part of those strikers. That space should be kept for another midfielder somewhere else. That I think we have to look for or a box-to-box midfielder that can fit in that place where Ahmed Musa. Well, I think this should be his last tournament. Maybe they are trying to use it to compensate him. He won't start any game. I don't think so. He might come in from the bench, but we have to get the players that can do the job for us. So what do you think about this
Yeah,
like this front front end players that we have, the strikers that we have?
yes. I think attacking wise, Nigeria can claim to have the best squad going into the Nations Cup. Although we always have that in every tournament, we have the best attack. But what matters is what they can actually produce when the
Yeah,
goods are down. Victor Osimhen, the king of Africa at the moment. Victor Boniface, the toast of the Bundesliga,
Bundesliga,
won
yeah.
Rookie of the Year 3 times in the very first. He was in Germany, but going forward, I don't think that is where the problem of the Eagles lie. As I said, the Eagles just happen to be like this very slim person who went to gym, and all of a sudden you are very big up, but you have a very small waist. Now, the
Yeah.
center is my problem, and just as you rightly pointed out, the center of the Eagles is my problem. The coach's preference in that middle, for all these words, I don't see any reason why a player like what's his name again? The guy that plays for Southampton, Joe Aribo. I don't see why Joe Aribo should still make this team.
The
For
team.
all his what that
Yeah.
man, the guy has not played more than 10 up to 10 matches, almost 20 matches that Southampton have played this season. Even the ones he have played, he just comes from the bench. I think he has only started the 2 matches for them. So why does he keep getting invited? Why does he keep playing ahead of those who are actually have the best of forms? Rafael Onyedika has been a revelation for Club Brugge this season, having a very good form so far. Yet you are very sure coming into the national team, he's not going to be a starter. Same with okay. Thank God Ndidi has we discovered why Ndidi is Ndidi, and we have started seeing him back to his best of forms. So at least we are sure that he that is going to be the one protecting our defense is going to be doing a very good job. Same with Alex Iwobi. Alex Iwobi playing for West Ham doesn't play in the midfield anymore. He now roams around with the right hand side, and he has been excellent there. Now you are going to bring him back into the national team, and you expect him to now play as just a second midfielder, not even a third
As a
midfielder.
number
And even
10.
as a third midfielder, yes, you can say, okay, two other midfielders. But now you're going to just make him just the second midfielder. Whenever he goes, it exposes in the number 6 position. However, all you just expect the team not to be too elaborate, to be able to just look for a way to strike that balance between attack and defense. Because trust me, if we don't get the ball, defending is going to be an issue. And that has been one of the reasons why the defense has been so much exposed in recent times that I don't think I can even remember when last Nigeria kept a clean sheet, apart from the South American games. We must certainly concede in all our matches. It's not about how many we can score. And thank God we have the king of Europe, the king of Italy, the king of Africa in our midst. We are sure out of every 2 chances, he'll definitely give you a goal. If European defenders have not been able to hold him, I don't see why African defenders should have an issue, should be able to hold him. In the last 3 qualifiers we've had in Africa, the 2023 Nations Cup qualifiers, he was top scorer. The 2022 World Cup, he was top scorer. Even in the last qualifier to this tournament, he was still top scorer. So it's only this World Cup qualifier that has started, he has not played and he has not scored. But we know that he's a goal machine. Give him goals, give him balls, you get goals. So I will expect this to be his tournament. Go there, shine, lead your team. Lead your team. I would have even expected that in order to put more responsibilities on him, they should give him the captain handband, just to increase the pressure on him so that he can actually come out and
Are you not
do the
asking for
best
too
he
much
can do.
from from from,
No,
from Victor Osimhen? Are you not asking for too
what
much?
all people think now is a teams, all national teams, that has been the trend. Once you get a very big player from your team, you give them the captaincy. Who is Mbappe to be captaining a team that has Griezmann, Giroud, Rafa, Varane? But Mbappe is the captain simply because he's the biggest star in the team.
He's one of the highest paid players in Europe, so you can't say who is Mbappe. He has a deal worth $1 billion.
So that is
just a deal worth $1 billion.
That's the reason.
And he has been playing well. He has been playing
Otherwise,
well.
if we bring out should be captaining that France national team, I don't think Mbappe is. Even Mbappe himself will not nominate himself to be captain for the national team. But now everybody gives captaincy to the biggest, so that to bring out the best in them.
Okay, for those that are watching us live, you can like our video and share this video to other persons. John, before we go, because we are past time, I think it's a 45 minute show, so and we will start at our normal time, but we'll have to start tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be looking at Group B. We have to look at that Group B very well and see where we are. So that's that for tomorrow. We'll look at Group B 45 minutes. We'll look at Group B. We'll dissect everything concerning Group B. We'll be back here by 10 a.m. Nigerian time and 9 a.m. UK time. So we'll be back here by then. So before I ask you for your predictions, in this group, do you think that which of the players in this group, in the entire group from Ivory Coast to Equatorial Guinea to Guinea-bissau and to Nigeria, which of the players you think will steal the show in this group?
Without doubt, I'll go for Victor. That's Osimhen.
Okay.
Victor Osimhen for Nigeria. He will definitely be the standard player to watch. Although you have a lot of musketeers along with him, but I believe he should be the Nintendo in the three musketeers of the group. Then for Ivory Coast, definitely watch out for Franck Kessié. Everything good that team does goes through him. Franck Kessié is the heart of that team, and I believe he will still come to party in the Nations Cup. But Equatorial Guinea, I believe Emiliano Insue. I don't know how much of responsibility they would like to give on to him, but I expect him to still have a good tournament.
Okay, John.
But for the entire group, I will expect Osimhen King.
Okay, that'll be okay. So, where do you think that the Super Eagles will finish in the group? First or second?
You said?
Where do you think the Super Eagles will finish in the group? First or second?
I would prefer them finishing second, actually.
Okay.
I prefer them finishing second.
Okay.
Let's take away from us. I would prefer them finishing second.
Let the Ivorians followed by the Super Eagles.
Yeah.
Followed by Equatorial Guinea.
Yeah, because they should gloat in the glory of hosting and winning the group.
Okay, no problem. I will hold you by your words. Today's date is what? Today's date is 31st.
Today's date is the last day of 2023.
On December 2023, which is the last day of 2023.
Happy New Year.
I'll hold you by your words. We'll come back here tomorrow. Then we'll have to continue our analysis on Group B, where you have Egypt, Ghana, and some other. I think we have Egypt and Ghana and top teams in that group. We'll dissect that group very well and we'll look at it and we'll look at the players in those teams. So thank you so much, John. And I hope that we'll have you here tomorrow to talk more about the Nations Cup. We'll have Roland here. Maybe we'll have a full house. We have Roland, we'll have Nonso by tomorrow here. And hopefully, let's see how it goes. Thank you so much, John, once again.
Thank you, brother. Have a good day and Happy New Year.
And Happy New Year too. You get the New Year before me, so you get the New Year an hour before me. So I think that will not be bad. Let's see.
We get 9 hours.
Exactly. So have a nice day, John.
All right, you too.
Yeah. Okay, guys. That's the most we can bring you on Group A, and we'll have analysis for Group B tomorrow. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned to Football Friends. Time later.